Hey, hi everyone. In this session, we will see Python indentation and Python comments. So this Python indentation is very important in Python. So let's get started. So here I have this Visual Studio Code and here's a sample program. So if you see, right, this is a 6-line program, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as you can see on the editor. Just notice if I put one space over here, right? So there's nothing changed in the logic. It's just that at line number 3, I have put one space and then I'm typing if x is less than 0, right? So this is a simple if-else logic. The point is, if I run this program with this space at line number 3, let me run and see. So Python is not happy with this space. So here's the point which I would like to make, that indentation error we will get whenever we are not following Python rules of indentation. So as you can see here, so Python says indentation error, as you can see right over here in the terminal. So line number 3, it's telling correctly that line number 3, indentation error, unexpected indent. And if I remove this, right, if I just remove this space, so this program should work fine as it was working earlier. So I can enter a number, let's say 56, and we got the output. You entered positive number. It's working fine. So just be mindful whenever you are using spaces or tabs, right? So indentation is very important. So there should not be any blank when with the beginning of the line, right? So then you must be asking, hey, you are saying there should not be blank, but why at line number 4 is a blank, right? So here's the point. So this print statement is inside if block, and that's why we are putting 1, 2, 3, I think 3 spaces, right? And then we have this statement. So when I say 3 spaces, the number of spaces are not important. The point is these two print statements should be at the same line, right? So whatever spaces you are using, if you are using 1 space, 2 space, so these spaces should be equivalent. And I just noticed there are 4 spaces, as we can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and here also I'm using 4 spaces, right? Alright, so this indentation is very important in Python. Let's see one another thing. So as we just saw, there's a 4 spaces, right? What if I do this thing, no space, right? So in this print statement at line number 4, we have no space. Let's see what will happen. Here you go, we got indentation error. So Python is saying expected indented block. Since this is the if statement, we cannot write another statement just below if. So we have to provide at least one space, right? So now you notice another scenario. So this is if else block. In first if statement, I have given 1 space after the print, and in the else block I am giving 4 spaces, right? Now let's see what will happen. Let's run this. As you can see, the program is working fine, right? Enter number 78, it's working fine. You enter positive number, which means if we are using any if statement, so next statement followed by within the if block has to be at least 1 space. You can provide multiple spaces, but at least there should be 1 space. And if I give the same thing in the else part, right? In if statement I have given the 1 space, but in the else part it is at the same line, right, with no space. And let's see what will happen in this case. Again we got indentation error, expected indented block, which means there has to be at least 1 space. And if you think logically, right? So if there's a if else block and if you provide one space, then it looks like, okay, there is something written inside if. This space indicates that this print is written inside if statement, and if you provide one space, this will look like this print statement is written inside else block, right? So in order to provide them a block, we provide one space, and if you're writing a simple statement, there should not be any space. So if I write space in X, again we got indentation error. So I hope the point which I was trying to make is clear. Just be mindful that if you are writing any line, there should not be any space, and whenever you are writing some if block, for loop, while if statement, for loop, while loop, so those are, then there should be one space within those kind of logical blocks. All right, I hope you have understood. So next agenda item was Python comments, right? This Python indentation we have covered, and now we will cover Python comments. So let's see. So if you want to comment any number or any line, what you could do, you could put hash symbol. So I have commented this line, right? So I think nothing will happen. So if you put hash, so this line number 1 will not be executed because this will be just like a comment, right? So if I run this, so we got error there. We have got error there. Name error. Name X is not defined because I have commented this line, so X is not defined, right? And if you want to comment, let's say, let me uncomment this, or maybe I can put let's say X is equal to 4. So I have defined I have defined X as a 4. So this time our program should work. So you entered positive number because this if condition is getting satisfied. This is one way of commenting the line, and if I want to write some meaningful information to my code, then I can also put comment. So for example, if I would like to add one comment at this line number 3 saying that checking condition for X, something like this, right? Then this way also I can write comment. The main point is in Python you have to put hash symbol before any, if you want to write some comments. That's the only logic. And if I run this, it should work perfectly fine. So we can put comment this way, we can put comment this way, and that's how you put comments, right? Alright, so in this session we wanted to cover this Python indentation, which is very important concept in Python, right? And Python comments, these comments provide meaningful information, or it makes your code more readable, right? So if in future after 6 months if you are reading your same code, these comments will help, and if your team member is reading your code base or the code written by you, then these Python comments will help a lot for understanding the code. With that, I hope you have learned something today in terms of Python indentation and Python comments. That's all I wanted to cover in this session today. Thank you so much. Bye bye.